Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Wednesday, May 4th. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, where we bring you today's top stories translated into English every weeknight. The U.S. Ambassador Donald Liu and EU Ambassador Romana Vlahotin participated today in the meeting of the Ad Hoc Commission for Justice Reform. They called Albania's political parties to not delay adopting the reform, an appeal which sounded like an ultimatum from the ambassadors. They considered the ongoing delays to be political games, noting this moment to be crucial for the reform. If the reform fails, the members of the Commission will be shamed before those who have voted for you and before the USA. We all together will not allow you to fail. The country is hoping for your success, and we will help you to achieve this, said the U.S. ambassador. The process should now enter into its final phase, and the draft with the constitutional changes should be adopted. There have been disagreements and objections regarding the case, but they are not important now. The future of Albania is important. If the reforms are properly implemented, it will bring an independent and European-like justice system. Adoption of the reform before summer and its implementation by autumn will give Albania the opportunity to take on the recommendations for the accession of negotiations, said Ambassador Vlahotin. The U.S. ambassador openly supported the proposals made by international experts of Opdat and Juralis. We believe the international experts have given expert help. You should study the document, ask questions, and discuss everything to do the best for your country. I encourage you to adopt the justice reforms soon, said Ambassador Liu, adding that the daily politics should not blemish the European aspiration of Albanian citizens. 91% of the citizens support the judicial reform. I pity the old politics that are trying to hamper the reform. You will face the anger of your citizens if you decide to defend corrupt prosecutors and judges. The Ad Hoc Commission should have a concrete agenda for the adoption of the reform. It should be adopted in Parliament by June. Stop the political games and adopt the reform. This is your duty, said Liu. You have a personal and political responsibility. People who have chosen you want the reform. I would not exaggerate if I say that this is your chance for Albania, so do not misuse it, said the EU ambassador. Assembly Speaker Ilir Meta participated in the Justice System Conference held in Tirana today. There, he reiterated his appeal for immediate adoption of the justice reform as a necessity for the country. We must carry out judicial reforms as soon as possible. It is necessary to adopt it in the upcoming weeks, not months. The justice reform is a condition for opening the EU negotiations. Any delay in their realization delays the integration agenda of the country. The elections are getting closer, and the political discordances will only get stronger. This is the moment to adopt the reforms, said the Parliament Speaker. Regarding the points of the disagreements, the Assembly Speaker said that the Juralis and Opdat recommendations should be followed. Now is the time for the reforms to be adopted, and I will do everything possible to encourage a climate of cooperation. The process needs to be closed as soon as possible, and the constitutional changes to be adopted before summer holidays. This is how we send strong messages to our citizens, by showing them that the reforms are not a game, but that they aim to make Albania stronger. We will also convey that message to Albania, that Albania really wants the integration process to the international partners, Meta said, adding that reforms will improve the business climate in Albania as well. 40 organizations of civil society have signed a petition which was sent to main political parties, calling them to adopt the judicial reform as soon as possible. Further delaying reform or failure of the political class to adopt it will have serious consequences, not only for Albania's integration process, but it will also destroy the citizens' trust and justice and equality before the law, reads the petition signed by the civil society organizations. Non-state organizations call on the political parties to fulfill the institutional and moral responsibilities they have before the citizens and to adopt the reform as soon as possible. May 4th was the last deadline for public officials to fill out the self-declaration form of decriminalization, and the Public Administration Department added extra offices to facilitate the process. The elected, including the officials of the public administration, risk losing their jobs if they have not filled out the self-declaration forms. According to the Central Election Commission, there was an increased number of forms that were submitted today and that only a few people have not yet filled out. Parties held several hours of negotiations to determine what was on the form, and as a result, the person should state his or her general information, declare whether the person has a criminal record, state whether there has been any court session in any Albanian or foreign court for the person, state whether the person has been internationally wanted for any criminal offense, and to declare if he or she has been expelled from any state, and if the person has lived for more than a month abroad. 9 ministers and 40 MPs have not filled out the self-declaration form given last Friday. The Minister of Justice held a meeting with the Association of Foreign Investors. He invited the investors to make concrete proposals for the improvement of laws that come to the investors' aid. He stated he will make the implementation of the laws possible to improve the business climate in Albania. The minister declared that there will be interventions established to solve business-state conflicts and to regulate the functioning of the administrative court. The Minister of Justice announced that the arbitrage rooms will be created to make fast, free solutions for cases possible. The minister also announced that the salaries of justice employees will be raised as a way to reduce corruption in the judicial system. The agreement to remove the administrative exclusivity from Rinas Airport has sparked many debates between the majority and the opposition in the Parliamentary Economic Commission. The former Minister of Finance defended the Democrats' stance against the agreement, claiming that it brings no profit to the citizens and does not guarantee the reduction of ticket prices. According to the former Minister of Finance, the agreement also damages the state budget. However, the current Minister of Finance says the opposition's arguments are unfounded. He defended the agreement, saying that it will greatly reduce the cost of flights. Meanwhile, the Minister of Transport clarified that he cannot provide a concrete deadline for when the Rinas Airport can open. As the feasibility study has not yet been finished, the removal of administrative exclusivity from the Tirana International Airport was adopted in all parliamentary commissions, and it is now expected to pass in Parliament. The European Commission proposed a lift of the visa requirements for the people of Kosovo to the Council of the European Union and the European Parliament, suggesting that Kosovo be put on the visa-free list for short stays in the Schengen area. The proposal is presented together with the Commissioner's affirmation that Kosovo has fulfilled the requirements of its visa liberalization roadmap. The Commissioner for Migration, Home Affairs, and Citizenship said that this is the result of the hard work and successful efforts of the Kosovo authorities. In today's progress reports, the Commission confirms that Kosovo will have met all the requirements of its visa liberalization roadmap if, by the day of adoption, Kosovo has ratified the border agreement with Montenegro and strengthened its track record in the fight against organized crime and corruption. Once the proposal has been adopted by the European Parliament and the Council, the people of Kosovo with biometric passports will no longer require visas when traveling for short stays, up to 90 days, to all EU member states. The decision of the European Commission was welcomed by Kosovo and Albanian politicians who considered this to be the end of Kosovo's isolation. That's all for our English edition this evening. Please join us again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. My name is Mari, and on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.